Hello, everyone. Just going to wait for a few more people to join here. I'll be right back. Tim, Tony, Connor, you're all there. Everything's okay?
Yeah, all good. Ian, all good. Just waiting for a few more folks.
Yeah, I'm here, Ian. Can you test my audio connection?
Crystal clear.
Lovely, lovely.
Got the music to work, so that was a good bonus.
Yeah, how did you get that to work? That's well played.
When you actually start the Spaces itself, it comes up with a small option at the bottom, and you've got 4 choices of music. So today we went with Vibes.
I will be taking notes. That's brilliant. Well done.
Back to your DJ days, Ian.
That's it. Got a few people joining. It's good.
Where did you used to play, actually?
Played. It's called Family Nightclub in Brisbane, Australia.
Okay.
It was #1 club in the whole of Australia for about 5 years running in a row. So I used to be resident DJ there on a Friday night for some time.
Many years ago, I assume, was it?
Many years ago.
Years ago, before your crypto.
So you were a DJ before you were a DJ?
Yes, I certainly was. My ears still remind me every day, actually. How are we looking here? We've got a few people joining. Give it a couple more minutes and then we'll get things started.
Lovely.
Tim, the train journey must have been all right. You're here?
Yeah, it was very smooth, actually. The London Victoria train service was on time today. Everything was very smooth.
I think I might just give it one more minute and then I think that'll be it. If anyone wants to share the link to the Spaces on Twitter and Telegram and get some more people in here, that'd be much appreciated.
Likewise, please get your questions ready for the team at the end. Anything burning questions you have, please feel free to share them and we'll do our best to answer as best we can.
We got any regular listeners in here? Just chuck a thumbs up for us so we can see. It'd be nice to know. I can see a few faces in there that I've seen before. Thanks, Connor. Appreciate it. Oh, yes, Serena, nice to see you here. Saheb, same to you. Harry, ZK Harry, good to see. Kyle, not the Kyle Chassé. Kyle Chassé is missing today, but Kyle with a UFO, welcome. So we might as well get started. My name is Ian. I haven't really been on many of these AMAs. I'm a little bit more behind the scenes. I've been in the team since day one. Been kind of across everything since Tony came on board, and we kind of broke down the whole Commonwealth and put it back together in some sessions, and went from there. So I've been in crypto since very late 2016, 2017, kind of watched my wealth go high in 2017 and watched it go very low not long after, not really understanding what was happening, and spent most of 2017, 2018 reading white papers and just really, really fell in love with the space. And here we are today. This week I'm going to be hosting it, so I apologize if there's any rookie errors here. I'll do my best. So this is the Commonwealth Weekly AMA. This is where we invite all of our community to come in and ask any burning questions that you have, or that you really want to ask the team. This is your chance to do it. So we invite anyone. So feel free to put your hands up and come on board and have a chat. We'll be covering today. Tony's going to be doing product and development side update there, and Tim will give us an operations and marketing update and a few cool things that we're working on. We have our big weekly. Sorry, from this next week onwards, we'll have our All Street Beats Twitter Spaces, and we're diving into the world of early stage retail investing and decoding the barriers and unlock solutions that make investing accessible for everyone. So with that in mind, I'll give it over to Tony to give us his update from there and take it from there.
Cheers, Ian. We've been kind of since the sale, we've been kind of really gearing up now for TGE and getting development for the platform kind of back on track as we work towards a launch later this year. So I think one of the things we promised the community earlier on was when we'll start doing planning when we're going to do closed betas and invite some of you folks in to help us out. Also some engagements with the UX team, helping out with some research there. But one of the things we also talked about doing was some kind of token gated event for kind of Genesis NFT holders. So what we're actually doing at the moment is working on polishing up the app in its current state. And once staking is complete, we plan on doing probably the first reveal of the app in one of those token gated events or some kind of AMA. Don't hold me to dates or details just yet. We're still in the planning phases, but we're planning along with Tim and some of the marketing partners quite a big schedule over the next number of months around engagements with the community, planning reveals, as well as the All Street Beats series that Ian mentioned. So at the moment, there's quite a lot of reviewing and planning work. Apart from the content piece that I just mentioned there, we're working on, as I mentioned, polishing the front end of the current instance of the app. I think the last time I gave you guys an update about 2-3 weeks ago, I'd mentioned we just put a fairly significant part of the back end infrastructure in place. Which is basically the connector between Web 2 and Web 3. So the second part of that was completed this week, where we are able to capture all the signals from every method in the smart contracts and automatically build up reports and dashboards on the back end, as well as actually automating some of the workflows. So while we won't be building on this straight away, version 1, it's a core piece for progressive decentralization further down the line and the level of automation we're planning on bringing to the space. So it's a kind of a significant milestone, but kind of a quiet one at the same time. And that it's not very flashy, but it was a big part of the vision, and it's great to have that in place. And then the rest I won't talk about just now. We're going to be talking about it a little bit later on, but we've obviously been doing quite a lot of work, both researching, prototyping, and discussing with partners various L2 solutions and how we might go forward there. And of course, we're having to assess all that in light of, where we are from a funding point of view, how interoperable and how ready some of these chains are, should we decide to go with them, and what, if any, impact would that have on any of our timelines. So we'll talk a little bit more about that later today, and there'll be a lot more to talk about in the coming weeks there for sure. That's me high level, Ian, really on the dev and product side. I don't talk too much right now about the UX pieces and the closed betas, but it's looking like we'll have 2 closed betas between now and November. Stay tuned for more details there. And last thing I wanted to say is just been really astounded, I think, and I think some of the team also have, by the level of engagement from some of you folks in the community. It's kind of breathtaking, actually, how deep some of you have read into this stuff and kind of how engaged you are with pulling it apart and putting it back together again and trying to improve it. So that's been very heartwarming, I must say. And we're actually talking to a few folks have reached out from the community about potentially doing some work with us and getting involved. And so those conversations are ongoing as well. And that's been, we welcome that, and more of it, please.
Thanks, Tony. It's pretty exciting seeing all the long road to get here and to see all the pieces starting to come together from the investment workflows and that. It's going to be really exciting to show everyone what we've been doing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a particularly poignant moment for you and I, Ian, I think, and that's, we spent 9 months toiling away with tokenomics documents and workflows and trying to get our heads around this beast and put some shape on it. So, yeah, it's a big moment for us, right?
Certainly is. Looking forward to it. It's exciting. And I forgot to say, Sweden, Cork, I saw you in there. Tony's just mentioning anyone participating in the community. You've been a big piece of it. I saw you in there. I just didn't say hello before. So, Tim, I'll bring you on now and chat about the operations and marketing side and let you have it.
Hey guys, Ian, just tell me if my audio is not great, okay? Because I can't rely too heavily on the hotel connection here.
Slightly weird at the moment, but we can hear you.
Slightly weird. Tell me, is this any better? Yeah. Okay, great. No, listen. I mean, I suppose thanks for the updates from Tony and also from yourself, Ian. Nobody's mentioned the elephant in the room, I suppose, which is that the crypto market is essentially in a very bad phase, and Commonwealth is trying to make progress in a situation which is difficult, right? And I'm sure it's the same for any other project you speak to who's in a similar state of affairs or a similar phase to where we are. It doesn't make things easy, I have to say. And the minting project for the Series 2 NFTs was a case in point, really, of what we believe is a fantastic outcome in the situation where we found ourselves, which I don't know if any of you sort of have studied the metrics, but a lot of people are assessing this as probably one of the lowest phases in crypto engagement ever, essentially, in terms of like the number of Google searches, people being crypto curious. It's really just tapered off. AI has become the huge, kind of flavor of the month, flavor of the year, flavor of the decade, and there's really, a huge lack of interest and liquidity in crypto and in Web3 in general. So, not to be too kind of fatalistic about it, it's something we have to really factor in terms of, the go-to-market strategy and how we set ourselves up. Everything okay?
Tim, yeah. I think you made whatever you did before. You had to do it again. It's just gone a bit weird.
It's very static.
Is this any better?
Yes, much better.
Yeah. It's a good point, Tim, you've mentioned. I mean, I think it's probably worth calling out that, some of the regulatory actions going on in the US, it's kind of made ripples throughout the crypto industry. And in particular, it's very, very difficult to get the fiat on-ramp folks, even the Web3 specialists, to engage with you. So we're finding we have to jump through hoops to be able to pull off what should have been a really simple integration. You know, so there are definitely knock-on effects to the market conditions Tim's referring to.
It's been interesting. We usually we're like in terms of the cycles of what we've had before. We haven't had any China bans crypto this year. It's been the Americans going hard at it. So hopefully it all gets cleared up and we can get back to building.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if it's any better now, Ian. I've changed my audio settings.
No, that's worse.
It's worse. God. Okay, sorry.
Like you're down a well now.
Yeah, just keep going, guys. I'll get it back on.
You know, there's light at the end of the tunnel in other places. You know, Hong Kong's embracing crypto now, and I think they've done quite savvy moves by forcing all the banks to talk and deal with the crypto companies. So from day one, they've got that piece integrated, which I think is a nice touch. And then, of course, we're very heartened by what's going on in Europe, and you know, the clarity and kind of insight that's been given there. And you know, Kyle gave a talk or a podcast on this recently, I think, where he was talking about Mike and kind of how far looking it was, and the way that they're talking about testing for decentralization, which I think will be a key piece. But to the point that we can satisfy the decentralization criteria, there's no need to be registered effectively in those jurisdictions, making it significantly easier to do business and give that kind of assurance and insight. You know, I think one of the topics that we've always had in our mind is, you know, despite the fact that our funds are going to be entirely non-custodial, you know, should we be looking at some kind of insurance for funds? And that this kind of clarity makes that it kind of a lot more achievable, I would say, in the short to mid-term than it would have been previously. And again, to be able to give that kind of trust or credibility or assurance to people, I think is a key part of what we're trying to do in the space.
Guys, I'm going to try one more time. Is it any better?
Much better.
Great. Much better. Yeah.
Oh my God, painful. So yeah, okay, great. The reason I prefaced the market conditions, I suppose, was to just kind of reference how we feel about the outcomes of the Series 2 minting phase, and like I said, we generally speaking, everybody in this sort of executive environment in Commonwealth is really encouraged by the outcomes, and what we've realized quite clearly from running the data analysis after the sale or the mint is that essentially we have a really strong and committed core all street contingent, and that comes through leaps and bounds if you look at the if you look at the Telegram chat and you're interacting on there for any length of time, it's uber clear that the core we have isn't huge in terms of like hundreds and hundreds of people that interact on a daily basis, but the interactions that we do have are really significant in terms of the quality of the interactions, the nature of the interactions, and the depth of interactions, and also the ambition behind those individuals in the community to see Commonwealth succeed. I think that's one of the most profound things, and I think, Tony, you also referenced it quite clearly not that long ago in your introduction as well. And I suppose what I'm getting to is there is something there in terms of what the culture of All Street is. And All Street, the clues in the name, Commonwealth, the clues in the name. It's about the collective. It's not about the few. It's not about the executive team. It's really about the community. And going forward, that needs to we need to double down on that culture, not just in terms of what we say, but also how we operate. And building into the strategies, a really serious intention for community activation, community engagement, community leadership, community empowerment. And I suppose this is what I'd like to speak to the community about today. Is we're in the first phases of rolling out what it means to participate in Commonwealth, actually. And it's very embryonic, and in fact we're just looking at this in terms of idea scoping, ideation. It's nothing sort of concretized, but the people that you called out, Ian, in the audience, there's a few people there that we would like to see go out, activate their communities, whether it's online or in real life, and grow the All Street community to the extent that that they can, and empower themselves and other people in All Street to take on that banner as well, and that responsibility.
Yeah, I mean, similar to what Ian did a couple of weeks ago in Phuket, right? You kind of talked at one of the blockchain meetups there, and we're talking to some of the holders on the ground, weren't you, Ian?
Yeah, it was a very, very intimate affair. It was nice to hear, the holes that you have in some of the models that we've put out, and answering some of the questions and the burning questions, and some confusing topics that have arisen as well. So it was really good to be there and hear what they had to say about it. I found that was a very good learning experience in terms of, even figuring a way of delivering content from my personal perspective in a way that will allow the normal end user to understand it, with clarity and clearly. And Tony, we've been through this battle, and we're even going through it right now with how we're displaying the community fund details, and you can see that we're never quite happy with how that gets displayed.
Yeah, it's very iterative. I think that's, we need to speak to this in relation to what Tim has said as well. But we talk about various mechanisms and the funds and things like this in the community, and it sounds like it's a well formulated, well designed, it's well thought through, and it's rock solid. And it is. At the same time, we question everything all the time. Internally, we're always going back and looking at things and going, to Ian's point there about the community fund diagram, we've had, I think, 5 or 6 iterations of that diagram, and we've never managed to clearly, I think, crack that one in an easily digestible way. So we have to go back and do that again and again, whether it's to explain it to the legal team, whether it's to talk the token economics guys through it, whether it's to answer a question in the community or make it clear ourselves. We constantly have to go back and revisit that. And that, in addition, with working hand in hand with the community, has always been very kind of important part of the way we've worked. And to Tim's point, we're trying to figure out now the plans we have for the community engagement and participation through rewards and on the platform. Okay, we don't have the platform yet, but we do have a really engaged community, and we've got this sense of shared mission. How do we start bringing some of those pieces kind of more to the fore, and how do we engage with the community and shape that? I think that's where Tim's going to speak more to today.
Yeah, I mean, it's even going beyond that, Tony, and in the sense of, we can acknowledge the few people, maybe 3 or 4 messages that we've gotten either in Telegram or on our official Twitter, and they've been very, very proactive, and not sort of like, I'm not talking about, shill artists coming along and saying, DM me, I want to work with you guys, which is basically code for give me $10,000 or 3 ETH and I'll shill you. Yeah. But actually genuine, like, NFT holders that we know, we identify them from the community, and they've got creative ideas about how they would like to, engage with Commonwealth in their, essentially becoming ambassadors in some shape or form of Commonwealth. And I suppose this is what I'm saying now, is acknowledging those people, but also trying to pull in all the pieces that Tony referenced now, which is, trying to make this coherent with the vision and the rollout of Commonwealth as an application, and not just pie in the sky. It's a very important piece of our marketing, because it is All Street marketing. It's not Wall Street marketing. It should be slightly unconventional. Yeah. It should speak about the populace rather than kind of drilling just passively messages across. And of course, there is an element of conventional marketing. We will continue to develop really strong content when it comes to the value proposition of Commonwealth, the platform, and the protocol, and explain some of these quite difficult to explain pieces. And that's all going to happen. We will, mix up audio visual with, written content and long form, short form, all the different media across the different mediums. So you'll see us on YouTube, you'll see us on Twitter, obviously. You'll see us on the other platforms, hopefully more and more when it comes to TikTok and things like this. But what I think what a core piece of community growth is community engagement, because an engaged and vibrant community is going to attract people and maintain people, and I really believe that Commonwealth sits perfectly in terms of that strategy, because we are essentially a project which is defined by its community. There is no Commonwealth without the common.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, our strategy really needs to kind of support this idea, and to this extent, I would like to look quite soon at an activation of some sorts in terms of how concretely how these ideas that Serena and different other people have been engaging directing towards us via their DMs, how we turn those into kind of a more systematic program where everybody feels empowered to be able to activate Commonwealth and grow All Street on their own strength. So that's a little bit kind of what I wanted to point towards today. Obviously, if there's a few people in the audience who are comfortable and don't mind coming on to the stage, sharing their ideas, their thoughts about, essentially how All Street community can become more active and, grow itself, essentially. I'd love to hear those ideas. And right now, as we're just mapping out the different ways forward, it can be, I think, very useful input as well in terms of, what is the next steps. So yeah. Would sort of call to action anybody in the audience who's sitting there and would like to share with us benefits of their insight, their experience, any concrete ideas they have, and we can use that as a basis for going forward. Maybe just to call out lastly as well that it's not that we're sitting here without plans to act to carry forward the marketing, and I think that's hopefully that's plain and simple and clear. Otherwise, you wouldn't see the content marketing continuing. You wouldn't see all the things happening on Twitter that continue to happen. You wouldn't see the All Street Beach show, which is going to happen every week for 7 weeks with high level panels, really interesting discussions to grow our audience, grow our profile, grow the credibility of Commonwealth. This is all happening. What I'm talking about is something that supports all of this, works to complement it, and hopefully leads us to a really prime, I suppose, context for launching the token into the market. That's the next big sort of milestone that we're looking at, and market conditions are not with us at the moment, but we have to expect at some point there will be a reasonable market sentiment in which Commonwealth can launch itself. And we're all looking towards that, but there's definitely a lot of work we can do in the meantime, internally in the executive team, but also externally as a Commonwealth community to make things happen and really grow the audience, the anticipation, the excitement towards the launch of Commonwealth, both the token but also the app, obviously. Sorry, I'll stop there. I know that somebody else wanted to come in.
Yeah, thanks, Tim. Speaking of community, I think we've got about 5 requests to have a conversation with us right now. So I think Sonia was first, and I believe that Almost was second. Can you hear me still? It looks like I'm having connection issues.
No, you're coming through clearly.
Nice. So, I'll bring them through. Sonia, welcome. Are you there? Okay, we'll go next one. We have Almost Done. Is that you? Can you hear the birds in the background? Is that you in nature right now?
Yeah, I'm lucky. I'm in a very nice location for work.
Nice to hear.
Thanks for taking the question. I just want to say, in the crypto space, I'm just an end user, but in my working life, I work on massive IT rollout projects. And I just want to say, so I've got an appreciation and understanding of what you guys are doing in the background for us just to click a button. And I thought you did a great job during the mint. So yeah, well done. My question really is you've talked about external factors, like the crypto market at the moment and the lack of engagement. That's probably only going to go down for the rest of the year. But you've also said, you're in a position working hard to release the demo, which I'm excited about. Is there a chance of, if the crypto market keeps going down for the rest of this year, which it might do, that you might have to put a hold on that because of those externals? Or are you in a position to, whatever the crypto market's doing, you're going ahead with the community? Thanks.
I'll give that a go, I guess. I think it's to be decided, really. We were talking about this, obviously, quite substantially during the sale and post-sale, and we had a meeting on it yesterday. And we're kind of hedging our bets a little bit at the moment because depending on which layer 2 we go to, that has significant implications, not just in terms of the technology stack, obviously, but also in terms of the supports that are there around launching, co-marketing, etc., and just general liquidity. So, we're looking very carefully at the options, not just from an interoperability point of view. Like, for example, we could decide to go on to Polygon or Optimism with very, very little additional work. Whereas if we go on something like ZK Sync, for example, that has significant implications for us. So we have to weigh up not just the implications on the timeline, but resources and cash flow, as Tim pointed out. One of the advisors we were talking to during the week pointed out that we did our mint in literally in the worst 2 weeks in crypto. And it was like, okay, I knew it was bad. I didn't think it was quite that bad, but yeah, between that gas prices, right, that's weak. So we're looking at things. We're being very careful, I think, in Commonwealth. Like, we have this thing of measure twice and cut once.
Yeah,
and
good policy.
So we're basically we're hedging our bets. We don't want to make any kind of firm commitments one way or the other. And while we have kind of very definite kind of dates and plans in mind, we have a current plan we're working to. We're also very, very busy looking at kind of a multitude of options. And, I think over the next couple of weeks, you'll be finding out a lot more about that, I think. Tim, is there anything you want to kind of add to that or amend?
No, Tony, I think you covered it nicely.
Okay, thanks.
Hope that.
Thank you.
I suppose the only thing I could say in response a little bit is that I know Kyle is always been quite adamant in the sense of he believes so much in the value proposition of Commonwealth that it's almost to him, I wouldn't say irrelevant, because that's not true. Obviously, he would like to launch Commonwealth into optimal conditions or even reasonable conditions, but he believes so strongly in the value proposition that he's quite happy for Commonwealth to launch under any circumstances. I'm not saying that is the party line, so to speak, but I just wanted to give an idea of the confidence that he carries, which is great, because out of all of us, he's the one who has seen more cycles, I think, in terms of crypto. Also, he's launched more projects than most of us. So it does bode well that that's his vision and his feeling. Now, nobody's naive, and there is a lot of analysis going on. So don't fret if you're listening to this and thinking, oh yeah, we're just gonna do whatever regardless of what's happening externally. I don't think anybody is that silly, so to speak. But yeah, there is a level of confidence in what we're doing. But again, it does have a careful approach, which Tony is much more sort of practically minded. So I'm glad measure twice, cut once is probably the other party line, if I may.
I mean, it's quite heartening, though. We were on the phone with an advisor the other day, and they were very bullish as well. It's very almost exactly word for word what Kyle was talking about. So, we're very much getting advice in terms of going in particular directions. We have our own plans, and we just need to weigh up the alternatives and pick the best route forward, really. But of course, we'll be, if there's any significant updates or changes, we'll be, of course, engaging with you guys straight away on that as well. So have no fear, you'll be the first to know.
That's fantastic and very reassuring. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you. Almost enjoyed the nature there. It sounds wonderful. We're bringing, I think, ZK Harry on board to say hello. I think you've just been waiting patiently for us.
Hey everyone, hope you're all well. I hope you can hear me loud and clear. I just wanted to first and foremost congratulate Commonwealth for its rollout of the Mint and its great comms. Obviously, you've been holding loads of AMAs. There's been great interaction in Telegram. And I just had a bit of I've been pondering on this for the past few days, and I think one of you has mentioned about having some ideas coming from the community in regards to further engagement and growing the community. And I was wondering, I don't know obviously if this is possible, but having maybe an ambassador program for early contributors, because people that are contributing in the Telegram or on the socials are very keen to kind of really delve in and having detailed discussions, and they're really hands-on. And I think having key contributors from the community that are really hands-on from early on obviously bring a lot of value. And I think if there was some sort of program to incentivize them, I think that would really push this in a different direction. And obviously, it is a huge community project, so to say, in some terms. So yeah, that was just my suggestion. I was just wondering. I thought I'd throw it in there.
Brilliant, Harry. You didn't disappoint. So, I followed your interventions on the chat, and you're always bang on. I think, well, not always, not everyone's always bang on, but you generally are very put your points across very well. I'd love to hear more about what you think that could look like and feel like as one of those sort of early adopters or early community members in Commonwealth. If have you got ideas or experience even where it's worked well that you can sort of share? Please do that. You don't have to do it now. You can also share it in the group at any stage. But absolutely, that is in the thinking. Like I said in my introduction, it's not formulated, but this is exactly the type of sort of question and proposal that I was hoping would come up now. So thanks for that. And then I suppose my response to it would be, if you have any sort of concrete ideas or requests, I suppose, that we could take into consideration whilst designing an ambassador program or something like that, that would be really useful.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It was just more of a thought, really. Got a couple of ideas, but I'll send a DM and we'll have a chat. And but it's definitely something that you're so early on, but I can see that obviously the community is growing quite nicely. And at the end of the day, like, it's so early on, but I'm super bullish with Commonwealth as well, because what you're delivering is obviously for crypto native and people that aren't crypto native. And like you all say, it's All Street, right? Not Wall Street. So so yeah, but yeah, just to kind of push it out there to get maximal exposure. Obviously, I think it'll be a bit of a nice gesture, kind of given to like the early contributors, but also getting them to kind of push it as well, because I think that there's a lot of passionate people that are already like on board, which is great to see. Especially in like in such early stages. People are really delving in, likes of Kenny and Jan and everyone else that are talking in the group.
Yeah.
There's a lot of thoughts that are thrown around, and it kind of does get you thinking. Which is great. And I think kind of having them sort of people on board and to kind of push that message in maybe a different way, and maybe if they're incentivized in a way or another, not just them, but anyone that obviously wants to get on board, I think that'd be great. But yeah, I'm sure this will evolve over time nicely.
It's funny what you're saying, because the engagement in the community I mentioned earlier on as well, it's been very heartwarming. But I joke inside with the team that at least once a day someone from the community will DM me and tell me what I'm doing wrong. So no, it's been fantastic to see. And to your point though, like, even when I was having a discussion with someone over the weekend, and like publicly I'm defending a decision we made, but privately I completely agree with them. But that's kind of how we have always done things in Commonwealth. It's been consensus kind of from day one. And while we all kind of want to go to the same place, we might want to get there in kind of different routes, and it's that commonality, I think, which on the team has always been really central, and we've always been very keen to try and figure out, even designing the app from the community outwards. And the fact that we're starting this kind of rewards and participation piece before we've even built that system on the back end, I think is because of that community and because of the strength of that engagement. And Tim's been very bullish on this particular aspect of engaging the community for a long time, so I think he's chomping at the bit, and it's a very sincere request from him to give me your ideas, and like, I wouldn't hold back as well, because ultimately we plan to replace people on the team and expand the team with people in the community and reward them for those contributions as well. And I know it's not talked about in any detail in the light paper, but the three rewards programs we've talked about, one is purely for community participation and activity, another one is the promotional aspect of projects and funds you're invested in, and then the third one, actually I can't recall the third one off the top of my head. Participation, promotion,
Learn and earned.
Learn and earn. That's the what I wanted to get to. Thank you. Learn and earn. And learn and earn is going to be very content based. Like the point that some of you have made about, it's not just for the crypto natives. We have to be able to talk to people in multiple ways in multiple languages to get these quite dense and complicated concepts across if we really want to make broaden access to everyone. So particularly I would ask folks to help out when it comes to things like content creation and how do you talk to your non-crypto relatives about managing the seed phrase for a wallet, for example, because we're stuck with some of those legacy issues for a while. So we have to try and accommodate them and speak to people in a language that's familiar, they're familiar with. So throw all your ideas at Tim. He'd be very happy to take them all, I think.
Thanks, Harry. So yeah, some of the conversations in the group have been pretty entertaining, and they've been also full of insight, and it's been good to see. It's been really nice to be a part of. So thank you for coming on board. I'll bring SteamAC D, an old DGen. We like the DGens here, so welcome.
Thank you very much, guys. Yeah, thanks for hosting the AMA. It's just refreshing to hear all the transparent sort of opinions and kind of get the community on board. And just while we were talking about that community element, I just wanted to throw my 2 cents into the mix because I'm looking at your kind of social channels and how you engage, and predominantly you're using Telegram to activate your community to then push into Twitter, but you don't have a Discord. And from what I've seen with other projects is that they really, really organize their Discord and then use that to activate their community because the features are just so much more advanced in terms of how you can organize your channels, how you can direct. So you've maybe got 4 or 5 different community members. Someone's really focused on pulling apart your white paper. Someone's like, oh, tokenomics need tweaked. Someone else is like, I just want to shill this so hard. But in the Telegram, it's just a stream of messages. So the people that need to connect with each other don't really get that chance to form these little mini, I guess you could call them like cults, people that are really passionate about doing one certain thing for the project or the product. As well as the fact that you can token gate things on Discord, so you can have token gated channels. And what that really brings around, in my opinion, is a sense of ownership. You can delegate roles to people. You can give them make some roles up, and people really value that because it makes them feel like they belong. I think that's one of your key tenets in Commonwealth, is it is for everyone. So everyone should have a place to participate in, and I think that's how you start to attract some new joiners, because Twitter is just an attention economy. The algorithm rewards X, Y, and Z, and it adapts and it changes. So you would need to be aware that Twitter is probably not the best place to try and push something when you've got meme coin season happening, people sending ETH to random wallets without any promise of anything. Like, that's where we're at the moment in the space. Couple that within the regulation that comes on top and makes it even harder for the normies to kind of come into the space and engage. We just need a more focused place, I think, to start building out a bit of a key community and people. And you can start identifying people from that community that'll hopefully help you take them into the rewards program. And it kind of works as like a talent on-ramp for the certain learn to earn promotion and ambassador programs that were talked about. And there's various different ways that you can monetize the Discord economy. So they have lots of tools in there. But I think one of the other things that would be interesting to do with the NFT, because right now it gives us access to this amazing product, and Tony was just talking about getting access to the beta and things. And I think that would be amazing if we could use the NFTs to access the beta and help you guys do the testing and work through your UAT and find bugs and stuff. But what would also be good is there anything within your networks? Are there any projects that have utilities? So I see lots of NFT projects attaching utilities. So, hotel passes, memberships, right? It's not right for this product, but what else could you do with the NFT while you do this that is a simple attachment and an additional benefit that will help people to get more engaged, to talk about the product in a different way? So yeah, I'm just really, really glad that you guys are doing these spaces, engaging your community. Wanted to throw my 2 cents in, and I've taken a little bit of time off work, so I've got about 50 minutes. Then my boss will be where the hell I've been. So,
oh no, thanks for the feedback. I'll let Tony take this one, especially around the Discord conversation as well. But yeah, thank you for the feedback. And we still are very, very early here. So we do, obviously, utility is a big thing for our NFTs, and we do take these conversations on board. So yeah, it is early. There's definitely options there to add utility in the future. Who knows? Maybe we don't need to. But yeah, that's something that we can address in the future. But I'll hand over to Tony to take it.
Yeah, sure. The additional utility for the Genesis NFT is an ongoing conversation, and I think it will continue to be. I think where we draw the line is in tying the operation of the platform in any way to the Genesis NFT, because that's, again, not really part of the ethos. But I think within that kind of caveat, it's definitely a conversation that happens every couple of weeks. We talk about what additional utility and even some of the content and AMAs and the reveals and things like that we're planning between now and launch will be token gated for Genesis NFT holders, and potentially even some events only for Series 1. We're not quite sure the details yet, but it is, to Ian's point, it's definitely something we take on board and revisit often. The Discord one I'll address briefly now, because I actually want, one of the sessions I want to do with the community is on how we're approaching community and its integrated approach with our platform. We took a decision earlier on not to go with Discord for a number of reasons, and even the decision to go with Telegram was a temporary one. As we were getting ready for the sale. We originally hadn't planned on opening the community till a much later point in time, which, while I was in favour of that at the time, I think it was a mistake. I think we should have engaged even earlier than we did. I think we're all very heartened and glad that with the engagement we've got with you guys now. But our plan was always to not follow the general Web3 route of having your community segmented in a completely separate place on a completely separate platform from the core activity, which is the platform itself. Because some of the activities on the platform are very heavily driven and only driven by the community, both the scaling due diligence piece and even the rewards and learn to earn programs are all basically community run effectively as well. And that we knew we needed to put a lot of work in place around those workflows and integrating them quite clearly and cleanly with the app. So actually, one of the things I want to do by getting the live instance ready now is one of the first things we did was integrate Discourse, which is all the features of Discord and all the benefits that Steve mentioned, which I'm very much in favor of in terms of organizing the community, or allowing them self-organize, use the tools and leveling and kind of systems that are in place in the community. By getting the demo instance ready for the reveal, we actually potentially then have the option of moving the community and doing those token gated pieces inside the working instance of the community and building it out as we go. So I think there's a number of options there that we're looking at, but again, just in terms of the implementation and when they're done and how we do it, we're just trying to line that up at the moment with the roadmap and even the ambassador program that Tim is looking at the moment. So I think give us a couple of weeks and we'll do a bit of an expose or a bit of a reveal on the community side of things and how things like the reputation system will work. Because I do think we haven't spoken at length about a lot of the issues with Web3 communities that we're also trying to solve. Like getting enough people to participate is a problem in Web3 communities. Everyone loves the idea of owning a piece, but don't want to do the work necessarily of governing or doing the research for a vote or a proposal. So again, we're trying to accommodate various different segments and looking at governance in funds one way and governance in the community in a different way. And they have to interoperate, but also be distinct. There's a lot of things to be thought through. So long story short, I'm very much in favour of the approach Steve has outlined, and it's something we're trying to figure out as to when and how we make that move. But we hear you. The Telegram is really not the best place for, a good signal to noise ratio, I think, in some of these topics.
Yeah.
I don't know if Ian or Tim want to come in there. Do you have anything to say or add?
Tony, I think you nailed it. Very well described. So thanks for that. And hopefully Steve is understanding in terms of not wanting to have all these multiple different community-based platforms that ultimately become redundant, because we want to have one focus for where the community meets, discusses, and governs. So that's the logic, and it's just about timeline now, really. I think, isn't it, Tony?
It is, and at one point we always forget when we mention community. I want to throw out Discord is centralized. We want fully decentralized ultimately, right? We want to own our own data and be able to protect and secure that data. Discord is an inherently insecure platform. Like 67% of all files uploaded to Discord are infected. So there were good reasons why we decided not to go there. And it's also not a very friendly place for retail investors either. So I just keep forgetting to mention, I think, some of those nuances that are actually quite important, really, because we all forget, even internally, that we very much are trying to serve two distinct audiences. And you guys, while you're all lovely and you're all very special, you're one particular group, right? You're original OGs. You're mostly degens more than a typical retail investor would be. Imagine what it's like when 80 or 90% of the community are your cousin and your mom and your grandma, and you can imagine the kind of support and engagement, and it's very different kind of mode. So just something we have to bear in mind.
Thanks, Tony.
Ian, before you jump in, I just wanted to say we don't have that much time
No,
left,
no.
and there's like quite a few speakers, so let's try to limit
Just a minute. Sorry to jump in. I was waiting here for a while. I just wanted to ask you guys, because I'm journalist. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Sonja. I'm journalist, and I cover events here in Twitter. I used to open music. Just a minute, please. Sorry. I use it to open space rooms with musicians, and it's always a pleasure because it increases so much the room. It was like just a boom, because every space rooms here, it was about politics, vax, and whatever, everything that everybody's talking every time. So then I received a lot of musicians, players, singers, and it was an explosion. Then I went deeply in this artist world here on Twitter, and then I realized that connection with the crypto, and it was very interesting to see that we have paintings, we have pieces of art, we have music. We have so many things in this world, connected with the crypto. But now I'm going to speak like I think the public wants to listen, for I can translate them. Because until today, I don't understand how is the operational proceedings, about these connections you make. Like, okay, it's a music, connect with a crypto. This crypto is only for that music, or there are lots of music there, can be.
Sorry, Sonia, can I just ask what it is, what this has to do with Commonwealth? I don't get what you're saying. Can you make your question short? We've only got a few minutes left, like really short. And if it's all about Commonwealth.
No, I was just putting some background because public, the way you were talking, guys. Okay, most of them we can understand, but who is not in your field maybe don't understand. Until today, I don't understand. You were talking about crypto in the beginning. So, the importance to the market, the financial field, you emphasize that. So that's why I entered in that specific subject. So I would like to know, how is the operational, how can you connect these dots, and how does this really work? For example, I'm a potential client of your crypto, and how does it work? It's only that music I choose, or
no? Okay, maybe it might be worth checking out if you jump onto our socials or even our Twitter or into our Telegram group. We have a link tree there. You'll be able to look at the manifesto. You'll be able to look at the website. We've been very, very open with everything that we're building, so it might be a good place to start if you're looking to establish what we actually do.
Probably we should have said, Ian, at the start, this AMA is really an update for people who regularly interact with Commonwealth. So there is a baseline that if you don't understand Commonwealth, you maybe you maybe missed a lot of the content. I do apologize for that. If you're new to Commonwealth, Sonia,
Yeah.
this
Sorry
is
to
really
interrupt you,
about this.
Timothy. Because, I always imagine that you guys want some marketing, and I'm journalist. I'm here to cover your event and try to give some news, and I have to translate to public in a language, accessible language. That's why I just come with that subject, because I think it's very important the people knows, because that is your potential clients in the future.
Absolutely,
Not only the
absolutely.
music and the crypto.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'd say have a look on our website for sure. It has all the links. You'll be able to find everything that we do, and that'll give a better description of how we do stuff now. But thank you so much. And Defiri, you've been sitting there patiently for about 20 minutes, so welcome.
Okay, I thought it would never be my turn. Okay, I'm very glad to be here, and I'm going to make my contribution very, very short. I will say that I will still mention my wife, Serena. She's the one who got me here, and I'm very happy to be participating in the Commonwealth
Thank you,
project. But I
Serena.
feel that, yeah, she's wonderful. So I really feel that when it comes to products, the experience that people feel that they go through when they interact with the project is part of the product. So when new people come into our community, I think the experience they feel is part of the whole product. And I'm happy that we are becoming more helpful and having more constructive discussions. And I think that's going to go on as we proceed. And it helps all of us because people like the community, they like how we're helpful in the community. And I was going to also mention that it's interesting what I think it was what Harry said about people who want to be ambassadors for the project. And this is because my wife has already decided to be an influencer on her own, and she likes explaining and teaching what she learned. So we've already bought a couple of domain names to to help her with that,
Nice.
because I develop websites here, and I'll be doing the technical thing and helping her with the social media handles, and she's going to be doing that. So that's my contribution, and it was interesting to hear Harry say what he said,
Well,
and it would be nice if that comes on board. But whether it does or not, I know that if we get people into the project, it's going to be helpful to everyone.
no, we appreciate the input, and even Serena in the Telegram chat has been amazing. We've been loving her internally as well. So yeah, thank you for that. And I think Serena's been sitting in the queue now too. So if you want to jump in and say hello.
Hi, thank you so much for giving me the floor. I appreciate all that you guys do, and I am sending love back to you as well. So I'll keep my comment brief. I just wanted to appreciate the team for all the hard work they are doing behind the scenes, and you have our full support. And I too, like Mr. Kyle and others, am very bullish about Commonwealth. And I know some may not agree, but I think that launching in this market, even though it doesn't look great, has been the best decision, because in my studies, I've actually become very fond of the bear market because it eliminates all the noise, all the hype, all the scams. And so I've been able to zero in on a lot of really great and interesting projects. And that is how I was able to become connected with Commonwealth without being fearful or worrying that it might be a scam or this, that, and the other, which I never had that worry. But, I'm just making that point because, in this season, all the scams tend to go away, for the most part. But every little pump you see in Bitcoin, then they start to emerge again. That's what I've noticed. So I'd say it's a great thing that you have launched now, and then you really have people who are genuinely after education and learning coming on board early because they understand, market cycles, and they understand the essential benefit of getting in early. So I really appreciate that. And then I love what Harry said and the other guys speaking before or after him. I really love all you said. I got great value. So I'm going to just withhold my question for now, just for the sake of time, and just give you guys props and say that we are all behind you and can't wait to see what emerges on the topics that were brought up. Thank you so much. Have a blessed day.
Thanks, Serena.
No, thank you. I think we can answer your question. We've got a couple more minutes here. If you want to ask it, you sat in the line for long enough. I think you deserve it.
Yeah. it was just general about the tokenomics. So I noticed that 0.75% was given to staking. I just wanted to confirm, was that the staking leading up to TGE, or is that staking in the circular economy approach? I just wanted to verify what that staking allocation was for specifically.
I need to look
Yeah,
that up.
certainly. That's I think, Tony. I think that's you're talking about the staking that we've given as rewards for the Genesis holders just early on. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes. Yes, sir. So in the tokenomics section of the light paper, there's 0.75% of the total. That's for NFT. It says NFT staking rewards. And I just wanted to confirm if that was for what we're currently earning now.
Yes,
Okay.
it is 100%, which actually brings me to an interesting point, which is that only 65% of Genesis holders are staking at the moment. I was quite surprised.
Wow.
64% exactly, right? So there's a whole load of people out there sitting on big piles of NFTs that could be earning wealth every day, and they're not being staked.
Okay. And then on the same note, once TGE launches, assuming they're going to be a leftover amount of tokens, you guys have any plans with that?
Oh no, that's the pool that's equally divided up. So when we were doing the sale, we didn't know how many Genesis NFTs we'd be burning at the end of each day and how many we would be spending. So the final figure at the end of the sale is that amount of tokens, the 0.75%, divided by the number of Series 2. The number of people who are staking. So there'll be no money left over in that pot. It's all given to the NFT stakers. Am I right? Correct? Sorry, just to double check that with Tim.
My line dropped there, Tony. I didn't catch the last 3 minutes. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what, Serena, let me clarify that with Tim offline, and we'll clarify that for you. But as far as I understand it, I think that whole pot, it's the NFT staking rewards allocation, Tim. Serena was asking, basically, that's fully distributed among everybody staking, or if there's an amount of money left over from that, because not everybody is staking currently, happened with that application.
It's a great question. As far as I know, it's not going to be all allocated to the stakers. You only get allocated whatever you get allocated per how long you've staked it, how many 24-hour periods that you've managed to stake your NFTs. But we do need to bottom out on that.
That's a good. Yeah, I think you spotted an unanswered question, Serena. So we'll have to get back to you guys on that, and maybe you have suggestions too.
No problem. We'll wait for your reply. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I think we've got Saheb is the last person to ask a question. I think that'll be it. Myself and Tony will have to jump off into a meeting very soon as well. So, yeah, Saheb, welcome.
Thank you very much, Ian. It's a pleasure. We've joined right at the start, and we sincerely believe in the project. Now, at the start of the session of the AMA, the question was asked that how is Commonwealth doing and what can be done from an improvement perspective? We've heard some true, genuine comments and suggestions. Basic knowledge and understanding over the years. Standard rule of thumbs are build a strong community, build a strong identity for your project. Marketing is most definitely an ongoing process. It's essential to adapt and refine your strategies based on the user feedback and however the market dynamics and the market situation is, as we all know right now. So the concerns around whether to launch now or later, please make that decision. We are with you. I would always say that, and absolutely agree with Harry's suggestion. Bang on. One quick good inputs again, from SteamAcD. But one suggestion that we had was around Zeely.io. I know everything has its own time, and in due course that will also come, where we can actually look at helping our community, Commonwealth community, grow and attract new project interested partners who wish to join the the Commonwealth, or wish to look at partnering with Commonwealth, that will come in due course. But we sincerely believe that Zeely.io could be a long-term solution of attracting be it investors or be it projects. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Please feel free to forward that stuff through to our Twitter. We'd always love hearing any of that feedback or suggestions.
Ian, I've got a group with Cryptos Ahead. He's one of our sort of internal influencer group, grassroots influencers, I would say. He's been with us from the start. He's a great chap. He's always pushing Commonwealth. So yeah, we can do a bilateral with him.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think
Thank
that's
you.
about it for us, folks. Thank you, Sahib, for joining us. I think that we'll call it a day here, folks. And thanks everyone in the team here for being here. And thank you everyone for participating and all the comments and the feedback. We love it. We'd like to hear it. Please feel free to send it through anytime.
And thanks, Ian, for doing a great job of hosting.
Thanks, Ian. You're awesome.
Thanks, gents. See you soon.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Bye.